Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
What's going on, Suns fans? How's everyone doing after that amazing win tonight? I was actually at the game, so I'm feeling a little more pumped up after the game, man. Talking a lot of trash to a lot of Jazz fans. People were booing me, and they would boo Booker whenever he touched the ball. And the second he would score something, I would go up, just point to the back because I got the Booker jersey on, and let him read and weep. They were saying, go back to Phoenix, all that stuff. What? I can't hear you. Go back to where? You mean the top spot in the conference? Got it. It was a lot of fun trash talking them and just seeing the Jazz fans interact with a lot of the BS calls that were really going down at the end of the game. My 7-year-old nephew, you know, they don't watch a lot of basketball at their house, which is totally fine. But he leans over to me. Never been to a basketball game, mind you. Never been to an NBA game. He knows sports, but not that much. He leans over and he's like, the Jazz don't even look like they're trying. And that's from a 7-year-old that's never seen the game before. So, there you have it. So that's just the game in a nutshell. But man, that was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with the family. And here we are on He's on Fire podcast with the one and only Suns fan, Randy. How are we doing tonight, bro?
All right, man. We're doing all right. The anxiety is down. It was going up a little bit. It was getting there towards the fourth when they cut it to 2 points. I was like, we should have threw in Bismack Biyombo a little bit sooner, but
that's what I thought. I kept looking around like, why isn't Biz getting up off the bench when Jalen Smith is getting eaten down low right now?
Yeah, you could kind of tell that he wasn't used to being out there with that closing unit or just in the crunch time, just because I've seen, like, I don't know if you've seen it being there. Like, it seemed like he was arguing with Book and CP3, like whenever like it would be a defensive breakdown or whenever they would drive and penetrate and kind of dump off. It seemed like CP3 was telling him something, he was telling him something back, and then he didn't want to take out the ball, so it was just a little weird.
It was, yeah, I kind of saw that too, and it was weird, but anytime there was a jam, like Hassan Whiteside had 5 or 6 dunks down there?
Yeah.
Anytime, or Pascal even, anytime something like that happened, I would see Cam Johnson or Mikhail be like, what the heck? And it was always when Jalen Smith was on the floor. Right. So it's like he wasn't doing something. But in the last 2 minutes, when they tried to do stuff, when they tried to execute the pick and roll and feed it for a dunk, it was fine. Like, they made some sort of adjustment. I don't know what it was in their head, but I saw them do it when they came back down the court. Somebody did this, and then I saw this or something like this. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what it was, but the next 2 or 3 times on the court, it did not work. And we got our man, Jay Joyce, joining. How's it going, man?
40-point book.
Can you hear us okay?
What's going on, Randy? What's going on, Evan? I'm doing all right. How about you guys? Late night tonight?
All right.
It's all good.
Yeah, late night. I had a lot of fun, obviously, as you can tell. But, yeah, what did you think of the game? Jay, we were just getting into Jalen Smith really just getting abused down low and Bismack not being in. But what was your initial impressions of the game other than the 40 burger?
Man, that's the main subject line of this game is Booker's 40 burger and him outscoring the Jazz in the first quarter, just him by himself. That's really the biggest telltale sign. But Utah's like best guy besides Donovan Mitchell on that team is Bogdanovic, or however you say his name, like
Bogey.
Dude. Yeah, Bogey. Yeah, he slashes, dashes. He's he can guard all 5 positions. He can score pretty effectively, and he can distribute the ball pretty well. And when the Jazz have him in the lineup, he can facilitate pretty well. Despite not having Donovan in and some other guys, it's I saw us winning. Like, I went to the game Monday, and I didn't hit the panic button at all. So
Ooh.
tonight was no different. So
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
panicking. That first one, I was panicking.
What?
I was like,
hey,
oh.
Randy, like this ain't last year, man. This ain't last year, man.
But as I was driving home, I'm thinking like, what can I talk about with the game? What are things that stand out? And I was even talking to my wife about it, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is just the Phoenix Suns. They come out in the first quarter. They want to put the pedal to the metal. They want to run their stuff. They want to play defense, and they want to do all the stuff they want to do, and they do it. They do it at a pretty high rate in the first quarter, unless that Toronto game when we were getting abused on the boards. There's a couple times where we just walked through the first quarter, but then the second quarter comes in the third quarter. They just want to skate. They just want to cruise, man. They really don't want to do a lot of stuff. They just want to try some things that are going to work. Let's try this over here. Let's try that. They also know that the Jazz could be a playoff contender, so you don't want to throw your whole game plan, right? For the whole game, show more on film. You don't want to do that. And then fourth quarter comes, you see them not playing any more drop coverage. You see them switching a lot more. That's when Jordan Clarkson got a couple step back threes that were actually kind of nice. And then 5 minutes come in, and their defense is completely shifted. They're running all of their guys around the elbow, and they're 2 down in the corner. And they ran so many sets out of that. They ran double screens off of the elbow, where the guys on the elbow would come up instead of dual screen. Cam Johnson got a wide open 3, missed it, unfortunately, to go up big. And then a couple times down the floor, what else did they do? They're starting at the elbow again. They go down to the corners and set picks. Those guys come up to the elbows, and there's just so much more stuff going on. What were we going to say, Randy?
I was about to say, they love to run like that Spanish screen where it's just like, they come from 2 where the big sets the screen and then Book sets the screen for the big when he rolls and then he pops out for the 3 ball. So they love they love that, like especially late in the game.
They love doing that stuff off. There's so much action that they do, whether it's double screens or Book setting the screen and he's going to be the primary scorer, or you look down in the corner, something else is going to be happening when Cam Johnson or Mikhail come off it. You know what I mean? They do so many things, and I wasn't worried. Like, I was nervous that we were going to give up the lead because, sometimes some teams just get hot and there's nothing you can do. Sometimes Jordan Clarkson is just going to pop off at 3-4 straight threes in a row. That's just what NBA players do. But I wasn't worried about what we were going to be able to do offensively. Fortunately, we got the dub. And yes, Bees, I was absolutely out there harassing as many Jazz fans as I could. Trust me on that. I absolutely was. It was a whole lot of fun. Talk to me. What else do you guys know, Randy?
Going back to the Sticks thing a little bit, like I thought that he was kind of pulling it together in the first, because at first he got dunked on by Pascal. Then I was like, okay, cool. And then he went back and had like maybe 2 or 3 blocks back in a row. So I was like, okay, like maybe he's with it tonight. And then in that second half, he just like, it seemed like mentally, like he just wasn't there anymore, or just like he was kind of pissed off or ticked off or whatever. And I feel like that's something easy about him too. Like whenever he gets mad or whenever he starts barking to the ref, like he kind of gets out the game too. But I was like, okay, like he got a couple blocks and you know what I'm saying? Way to bounce back from getting dunked on. So that's what I saw. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like maybe it's starting to click, but then it was just like, maybe not.
Biz didn't play the best of games either. I mean, we had 8 blocks. And if we look at the box score, I would guarantee most of them came from him and Jalen Smith. But he just didn't seem as, I don't know, mobile is the word, aggressive. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jay?
I mean, I went, like I said, I went to the game Monday and I got to see, a Biz sort of play more of the backup, like, I don't know, because on Monday, JaVale, he didn't have the best game. He got put in foul trouble kind of early. And then Biz stepped in and he played great. And I was expecting to sort of see the same thing with him starting. He just wasn't all the way there. I think he was just kind of I wouldn't say forced into certain situations, but it like everything just came circumstantial with just where he was. And hopefully by the time we get to the playoffs, we won't need him to start or anything like that.
Right.
So
right.
Really, I wasn't surprised of the lack of his pacing and stuff, because he was our main guy, our main big guy tonight. So Like JaVale looked fine. When I saw him yesterday or the day before, and like when I heard he was out today, I was like, okay, that's strange.
Yeah, that's
So
what I
I
was
think
a
that
little
was just
strange.
as a shock for Biombo. So just to throw him in there, I thought he did pretty decent, and plus he hasn't played like a full game ever since he was with Charlotte last year. So it's like
Yeah, he
it's
definitely got some
it's not a
juice.
big deal.
He
But
played
I
29 minutes tonight, 29 to Jalen's 19 minutes for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've for a couple games now, I've been kind of advocating for Biombo to start and to finish the games. Well, he's been finishing the games, but he hasn't been starting. I just feel like JaVale McGee just has a better chemistry with the second unit. You know what I'm saying? I feel
Yeah.
like him and Campaign definitely have something going on, and I don't know what it is. And it's like EJ says it all the time. It's like you got to play JaVale McGee in spurts, like 4 to 5 minute spurts. Like you can't have him out there for 10 minutes or whatever the case, because then he picks up fouls. He starts to get lazy. And it's like, okay, like I'm starting to see it. Like he is like literally just an energizer. Just come out there, shoot, and he's like cheap batteries. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll work for however long, and then they're gonna go away after a while, like maybe after 10, 15 minutes. So
that is JaVale. And let's not forget the fact that when he does come into the game on the second unit, he's playing against second unit players too.
That's why he looks so good a majority of the time. Like,
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Bees, they were so salty. They were so salty tonight. It was so
they're peanut
fun
butter
to hear
and
them.
jealous.
They were, man. They were. But then I just kept hearing, we don't have Donovan. We don't have Donovan. It's like, okay, yeah, well, we were missing 6
we beat them last year with them too.
But this isn't, if they were playing, it would be a completely different game, and we would be playing a different game too. So that's just a really lazy excuse.
But we got D Book. How did y'all feel about that 43, 12, and 4?
That was more
efficient too.
That was the best performance I had. That was the best personal performance I've ever seen from a Phoenix Suns player at a game. I caught a couple 30-point games. Amari had one, Nash had one, Barkley had one back in the day. I never saw a 40-burger from us or somebody else on the other team. That was the best personal performance I've ever seen going to a live NBA game. So that was dope to watch. That was dope. It's just whenever he chucked it up, you just figured it was going to go in, man. It was wonderful to see.
That's how it felt tonight.
Go ahead. Yeah, it was.
Oh nuts. No, I was just adding to that.
No, it was definitely nuts to see, but like sometimes I said on my channel, like it was so. Tonight was a little bit reminiscent of those 2017, 2018, a little bit of that 2019 Suns, like where Book was kind of like doing everything, and then like everybody was kind of like sitting around ball watching, or like we had just a bunch of scrubs. Even though like we didn't get a lot of like we didn't get a lot of anything from anybody outside of. Well, CP3 in the fourth quarter.
CP3, like, so, and that's it.
Yeah, so it was like Book, and it like I was literally taking me back. I was like, man, I remember those days where it was like Book had to score 30 or 40 just for us to even be in the game. And I was like, okay, like, but then a little bit too, it seemed like it was kind of a game plan too, because it was like a little bit of Book's fault, because it's like, all right, like he was so hot that nobody else got a chance to catch a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Like they were just like, just keep feeding him. He's hot, like keep feeding him. And so, like, Cam Johnson never got a rhythm. Bismack never got a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? CP3 was off, too. So, it was just like, it's like a kind of like a double-edged sword when, you know what I'm saying, when you got a guy that can do that. So, that was a little interesting, too.
I want to share my screen and bring this up. This has been a topic for Suns fans, and I am here for it. Do you guys see this garbage?
No one loves juicing their numbers against bad basketball team more than Devin Booker.
Suns fan Randy still needs to get Suns fan Randy. We need to bully Suns fan Randy to get on Twitter, man. Everybody bully the hell out of him.
This stuff is on Twitter all the time, dude.
You need to get on here, bro.
I do.
So Ben Anderson works for KSL Sports, which is the newspaper out here. Zone Sportsnet. Oh yeah. I said that. You just continue to suck at your job. And then I posted, how many L's do you take on a continuous basis? I just tweeted him now as well, and I said, was that stat padding at Ben Hoops? So we'll find out if he responds to that. But he said on Monday, nobody loves juicing their numbers against a bad basketball team more than Devin Booker. A few things to break down in this. Number one, you are admitting that the Jazz are a bad basketball team. You didn't say like
And-
without Donovan Mitchell or without Gobert or anything like that. You just threw that out there. Second of all, I don't really think there's a thing as such as stat padding in the NBA. I mean, there is to a point, like when Russell Westbrook does it and he misses a layup and gets his own rebound multiple times. But it's like it's against NBA teams, y'all. Like these aren't scrubs in a YMCA. Like this is an NBA team with an NBA coach, facility, et cetera, et cetera. Like I find that hard to believe that you can actually do that in an NBA game unless you are that good, right? You have to be damn good to stat pad over and over again. You know, does Kevin Durant stat pad? Does Steph Curry stat pad? Do we say that? No, you take the shot, you shoot, you make it.
Yeah,
That's
but
that's a game of basketball.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't agree with what he said, obviously, but like I understand it just because like I feel like whenever Book plays on national TV, like he never has good games. So it's like that whenever we do get a chance to kind of showcase, like, all right, like this is our guy, like he always goes out there and either like shoots really bad or like just has a bad game. You know what I'm saying? So like in that aspect, I understand it. It's like, all right, whenever we do present him, he never really does what we, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a Phineas and Ferb kind of thing. It's like real strange.
Did y'all watch the ESPN or TNT broadcast, whatever it was on, or did you try to watch Bally Sports or?
I tried on Bally, but yeah, I got it on ESPN tonight.
I watched without the sound on. I was like doing stuff, but
yeah, that's that dad life right there. So Randy, what was what was the broadcast? Were they talking about him or were they just talking about the Jazz? Like they
they had Mark Jackson and I forgot it wasn't Stan Van Gundy. I forgot who was it, but it was Mark Jackson. But typically, today like they were kind of on because you know how we all know how it goes like with the national media dudes. But they were gassing them up today. They were saying Book and you know what I'm saying. But another thing too that kind of irritates me about the national thing too is that I feel like they give CP3 more credit, and it kind of makes me kind of resent CP3 because they're like, oh, like yeah, CP3 is the whole entire reason for like everything, and it's just like I feel like we were headed this way, and then CP3 definitely he gave us, you know what I'm saying, like a boost for sure. But like I feel like we were headed in the right direction. Do I think we go to the finals without CP3? No. But do I think that we were headed? You know what I'm saying?
Did we go to the finals without Booker?
Dude,
no,
absolutely
not.
No,
exactly.
But we would have made the playoffs if the DA didn't have that 25 game suspension. I feel like
the year before, yeah. So that could have been something completely different. I mean, look, man, we all know the national media is going to do what the national media is going to do, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be garbage. I can't stand awful. her. But I will take Doris Burke over Mark Jackson every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I can't stand him, man.
I think it depends who you play against because, like, remember when we went against the Nets? Oh my god, it was just a Nets like
just man,
like, cocky the whole night, dude. Like, yeah,
all night. And on TNT, I feel like it's the worst. Like, it's just like they don't even acknowledge like we're there. Like at times,
TNT is really bad.
I'm like, talk about both teams. It's not that hard, dude. It's like even with Donovan and Gobert being out, I'll still be like, yeah, like Boyan's good. You know, Jordan Clarkson, he's like the streakiest guy. Like I can talk about those guys. I don't know like what's so hard to like just like talk about both teams. You know.
So during one of the plays from the game, and I'm going to share my screen again. This was coming up, and if you watch over here, Hassan Whiteside is going to come and bowl into Jalen Smith. The crowd went crazy when we got the ball because this is when we were going up 4, then down, up 4, then up 2. They would score, and it was kind of going back and forth for about 4 or 5 possessions. Crowd was going wild. It was lit at this point. And this happens. I really didn't see what happened until I got in the car and I saw this replay. The fans were livid when it was called our ball. They were so pissed. I mean, I was hearing everything in the world. I was like, man, I got my little nephews here and y'all are cursing up there. This is BS. I can't believe that Hassan Whiteside has the balls to come out and say this was a bullshit call because Jalen Smith jumped out in front of him. Watch this. He claims Jalen Smith jumped out in front of him and it was a bullshit call. This was offensive as hell. Watch Hassan. Boom.
What? And he knocked down your own teammate.
And he has the ball. Watch this. The quote is, on his late foul, Hassan Whiteside said Jalen Smith jumped out in front of him and fell down. That call was bullshit, and I stand by it. Should we watch it again? Let's watch
Dude,
it
he
again.
hit him like it was like a football pad from a D lineman.
Boom!
Dude. Like,
Come on.
Oh, man.
that's an offensive
One
foul,
more-
dude.
All day long, you can't do that. And take away
Bias
your
is
own dude.
aside. And like how is that Ingles sending the screen?
It looked like Bogey.
That was Bogey.
That's
Bogdanovich,
Bogey.
yeah.
Like he's that's a moving screen too. Like he was.
Oh my
moving
God,
up
Doris,
on him.
but the Lakers,
The
Burke.
Lakers, Burke. I'm telling you, dude,
A+.
she's bad. Like Mark Jackson, like he's bad, and Reggie Miller, he's really bad too. But Doris, I don't know what it is. It's just I mean, I know what it is, but it's awful.
It's frustrating we can't listen to EJ in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It makes me love EJ so much more. EJ is one of the best color announcers that I can think of in almost any sport. There's some good football ones out there. I love Aqib Talib on NFL.
Yeah.
If you ever
I
listen
like
to
Tony
Talib,
Romo
I like
too.
him.
Romo's
Dudes that
great.
keep it real like that. Romo's really
Yeah.
good. I love listening to the Manning cast. Those guys are funny.
The Manning
But
guys are so
EJ, man, EJ is so good. So, I mean, we end up winning 105-97. Booker has 43 on 28 shots. He shot 16 of 28, 2 for 6 from 3. By the way, he's dipped below
Isn't
the 40%
that more
mark on
impressive?
three. Booker's at like 38% now from 3, by the way. That's definitely something to keep in mind. What's the official stat? He is at regular season. 37.8 now.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when he was like at 42?
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, he's finally getting it, but I don't know.
But he also had 12 boards. I
Yeah.
mean, the dude is an all-around
Active,
player.
you know.
If he is not an NBA All-Star this year, do we riot? What are we going to go to NBA offices in New York with pitchforks? What are we about to do? Because this guy is a certified killer right now.
Yeah, I've already like given up on it just because like the last I want to say maybe 3 to 4 years, like I've been like super hyped for it, and it's like kind of like your dad telling you he's gonna come get you and then he never comes. You know what I mean? So it's just like at this point I'm just like I'm over it. Like I'm just like the constant disrespect. It is what it is.
He's averaging 24.5 points right now. Okay. Last year he averaged 25.6. The year before, which was kind of the bubble year too, was 26.6. Year before that, 26.6. Year before that, 24.9 in his third season. But this year, not only is, I mean, I don't even know if this counts as the game tonight that they added this in, but not only this, he's averaging a career high in rebounds, career high in assists, career high in blocks, career high in steals, career low in turnovers, career low in personal fouls.
Mhm.
His career high at 3 from 3-point percentage is 38.3. He's at 37.8. I have a feeling he's going to break that clip this year. And he's shooting 43.8 from field goal percent, which is about average for him. He shot 48.4 last year, but he's doing it on one more shot this year. And he's doing it with less free throws, one full less free throw a game. There's a difference in point discrepancy from 25.5 to 24.5. He's doing it with less free throws, so it shows that he's not even getting the calls. And he's doing it in less minutes. He's averaging a career low in minutes after his rookie season. His rookie season, 27.7. Now it's 33.3. What more does he need to do, man? How many times are we going on Twitter? Suns fan Randy's not on Twitter, so he can't even comment here. How many times are we going on Twitter, Jay, and we're seeing new clips of Devin Booker D'ing somebody up? In the last 3 to 4 weeks, we are seeing multiple clips of Devin Booker D'ing people up. That does not happen. What's he got to do?
Ever since the Raptor thing, he's just been going on this crazy stretch of like hard defense, just good transition defense. Him just snatching boards. That block of the last few blocks that he's done in this stretch as well. Like before the whole Raptor thing. Like I was like, yeah, Booker's gonna be an all-star, and like, yeah, he can come off the bench, whatever, because we're like, the West is loaded just with big names and stuff, even though they're not having as good as a season as Booker and Chris Paul are. I was like, I'm fine with that. But after this stretch, this like 5-6 game stretch, I'm more leaning to like Booker is at the point where he needs to start over Ja, because Ja, like, really, this is like his first good season. All right. So like, yeah, like Ja is nationally loved and like I love him too. I think I can speak for everybody here. Everybody loves Ja, but Booker is like he's having a better season. He's on the better team. He's the best person on his team. This fucking
The Suns when it's the
But-
fourth quarter crunch time. Hassan Whiteside, ready or not.
Ready or
And if y'all don't follow Streaker, I
He
don't
is
know how to pronounce
funny,
that.
dude.
He is funny. Sorry, Jay. I just came across that. I'm kind of BSing the night a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just at the point where like Booker needs to start because like who's really gonna start over him besides like Curry, even though Curry's having kind of a crap year.
Well,
And,
whoever's the
like,
top two in the guards will obviously start.
Yeah, like obviously, but like I'm
Who,
at the
who
point
deserves
where
to start?
Booker needs to
Who
start.
deserves to start and who's getting voted to start? Those are two completely different conversations too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just feel like too, like they're gonna I don't know what it is about Book, but it's like it seems like they're always gonna move the goalpost for Book because it was like for the longest time it's like, oh yeah, he's not getting selected because he's never been in the playoffs. Oh, he's not getting selected because he's not on a winning team.
He's on fire.
Y and Z, and it's just like how many times you gonna move the goalpost? And that's why I said like I'm kind of like over it. It's just like all right, like you guys are just gonna continue to move the goalposts, and it's like. Now you got Klay Thompson ahead of him, and he hasn't even played with 4 games this year. So it's just like at some point, and that's why I was kind of happy that he didn't play last year as a filler or whatever. He kind of realized his worth and was like, you know what, I'm better than just a filler guy. You know what I'm saying? So
I thought he got COVID.
Well, last year?
Yeah, I thought he got COVID last year. That's why he couldn't play.
No. I think All-Star game was right before COVID. I think, or it might have been
No, last year was right in the middle of COVID.
You're right.
I
Last year.
swear he had COVID and he wasn't able to go.
I don't know. Probably have to look at that, but I think he sat out. I think he came out with an ankle. I think he was out with an ankle because CP3 went and then Book was like, he pulled out. I want to say later and was like, yeah, like I'm not going because of an ankle injury or something. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah,
he had COVID.
COVID.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. He had COVID last year.
Okay, so I mean, I guess I thought he was out because of something else, or I thought he just was kind of like, I'm over it, or like I'm better.
That was a really weird All-Star game too. Like none of the players even wanted to go. They voted against it. Like they're not going to have any fans, and that was a really effing weird one. But we got was it the Chris Paul dunk? Is that what happened during?
Yeah.
We got the Chris Paul dunk at least. But I wanna move the conversation over to what we were talking about, Randy, before you came on, or before we went live. So, do you want to pose that question to the chat, to me and Jay, and
yeah? So,
we'll go from there?
and then I have another one too to follow up after that. So do you think, as constructed today, with the players we have, do you think that we would match up well if we met without a shadow of a doubt, do you think that we could beat the Milwaukee Bucks if we met them again in the NBA Finals?
I'm going to leave that to you, Jay. I'll answer in a second.
In my personal opinion, yeah.
With a straight face.
Size. Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, I like as soon as we signed JaVale McGee and Landry Shannon, I was like, oh, like if we would have had these two last year, this would have been a completely different series. Because for everybody that forgot, we went in lacking in size just in general. Our size got taken out around between game 3 and 6. Torrey Craig got hurt, Sarge got hurt, and then Giannis took the opportunity to get DA in foul trouble. And then once that happened, like what were we able to do? They threw in Lopez, they threw in Bobby Portis, and we just couldn't guard everybody, So that the size killed us, the rebounding killed us, the second chance opportunity, rebounds and shots killed us, and it just overall they just outworked us at the end of the day. And I fully acknowledge that. Fast forward to now, this team healthy with the size that we have, the better chemistry I think we have, the more of us closing out in the second half that was kind of bipolar last year. I think that's really what the Suns worked on this offseason. It was not closing in the fourth. And like, what do you know? You can probably pick 12 random games this season so far of the Suns staying even and then just closing in the fourth and just putting the dagger in and just controlling the pace. Because when we played the Bucks kind of controlled the pace a bit, with Giannis pushing the ball and Chris Middleton controlling the clock and him just wasting time and stuff. And that's why a lot of those games we lost by either 5 points, between 10 to 5 points. It was never a blowout. So I think with this team healthy, with the rotation that we have going on, with DA being our starter and JaVale and Biyombo splitting minutes and Cam Johnson coming off the bench and Jay Crowder having that defensive presence, I think we have the edge on paper and then on the court as well. And I think Booker's been a lot better with just protecting the ball. He's not throwing stupid passes as he was last year. He's not overworking himself. He's not doing too much as what he was doing last year that he thought he was going to do. I think what would really elevate this team and that would make me 100% satisfied is if we can get an actual scoring guard on the bench, because that's what also killed us in the finals too. Our bench just couldn't, keep the lead, or they just kind of fumbled that, and our starters kind of had to revamp that.
But does your outcome do we need a scoring guard for us to beat Milwaukee, or do you still think as still constructed today we still could?
I think as constructed today, I think we can do it. I think it would be a 7.
But it's just the icing on the top. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the icing on the top. If we I'm not saying we have to add Eric Gordon. Let's just say an Eric Gordon-like player, just to be alongside with Campaign, being really Booker's backup, and just having that scoring presence off the bench. I think would be huge for us because we could not score in the finals when our bench was out there.
So here's my thing. As constructed right now, I'm going to say probably
Grayson Allen is going to be trouble.
Yeah, he's going to fucking injure somebody is what's going to happen.
Yeah, Grayson Allen is definitely an issue.
The thing you need to look at is, one, Brook Lopez is out indefinitely. Yeah. He played one game this season, back surgery. Beginning of December, they said he was out indefinitely, and there's still no timeline. Indefinitely can mean a lot of things. I mean, if he comes back in March, April, that's tough to get in basketball shape and be ready to play at a championship level. So that's tough. So that's something that they have going for us, because you throw Brook Lopez into this and bring in Bobby Portis off the bench, man, Chris Middleton is 6'7". I do think Mikal has learned a few things and he can D him up a little bit better. Or you have Mikal guarding like Drew Holiday and you have Jay Crowder guarding him, right? You have options there. You have DeAndre Ayton, who I think did an amazing job against Giannis, all things considering. And Bobby Portis was that huge, huge X factor. So Drew Holiday D'd the fuck up Booker and Chris Paul.
And at the same time, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Absolutely.
And he forced them into spots where Chris Paul and Devin Booker turn it over a lot. And we still see that with Book. We don't see ISO Book anymore, where he's just going to do some dumb shit and turn it over. But there's quite a few times where Chris Paul and Booker do get into places where they are turnover prone. And it's with guys that pressure them the whole time. And he didn't switch. They kept trying to run pick and roll. Couldn't do it because Drew Holiday was not switching off them. So all of a sudden, that shot clock was down to 8, 7, 6. And they were completely out of it.
Yeah.
That was the biggest problem.
Yeah, he's super crafty as a defender too, because like I was saying on mine,
so good.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of like a masochist in the sense of I watched the finals, the Suns, when we lost, maybe once a week. You know what I'm saying? I gotta watch something game 2 or just, you know what I'm saying, just kind of reliving it. And if you watch just Drew Holiday's defense and his craftiness, because if you kind of watch it, I was watching it, he's hitting Chris Paul's injured wrist the whole entire series. He's slapping at his wrist. He's you know what I'm saying? And it's you could tell it's bothering Chris because he's wincing in pain a little bit.
Yeah.
And then and that clutch steal that he stole from Book, and Book was it's a foul or whatever. If you watch it, he is so crafty. he doesn't even swipe at the ball. Like he swipes at the inner hand, like his hand is like this on the ball, and he swipes like in between his hands and like slaps it. So it was like I said, he's a really crafty defender, and it's just like he knows all the little tricks of the trade and stuff like that. So his defense is just off the charts.
Yeah.
And
No,
and another thing
absolutely.
too, like why I felt so positive going into that series last year was because the Bucks 3-point shooting and just overall shooting was piss poor, and just everything just started clicking when they went against us. The typical Arizona sport thing. The opponent all of a sudden can like just do all this
And
stuff.
the thing is that their coach never makes any adjustments. They just keep letting the same thing happen. You saw it in game 1 and game 2, dude. Like they just didn't do anything, and all of a sudden they made adjustments. Monty never adjusted to that.
Yeah.
And that was part of the problem too. Monty was never able to get that additional adjustment and proceed to win. I worry about our size overall from a Giannis, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton standpoint, just because I mean Giannis is Giannis, dude. If we can hold him to under 40, we would have won some of those games. You know what I mean? If you can hold Giannis to under 40, we're gonna be just fine. But Drew Holiday was missing everything, and then Chris Middleton all of a sudden in games 5 and 6 just came out of nowhere and crushed it. And nobody did, and we didn't go up and we didn't try to do anything different. So I don't know if we can go forward and win right now, but on the flip side of it, I also think we learned a lot too. And I'm very curious about how much can we take from those games and go back to next year or this year, make those adjustments or understand the gravity of the situation, the gravity of the playoffs, and go a little bit harder, because in those games, in those 4 straight losses, there was times where I didn't see them playing Phoenix Suns basketball and going all out. And I think a lot of Suns fans can say that as well too. Hey, we've got a new comment. Thanks guys for the likes. We really appreciate it. Keep leaving all the comments you want. And while you're here, subscribe to the stream, which by the way, you guys, we are at 88 subs on our way to 100. So please share this out. Hulk smash the like button and share it out as much places as you can on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, what else? Spotify, whatever, Anchor, all the ones. They're all in the link below. I can't remember them anymore. But go to that. We'll read your comments out just like the Suns Jam session does. We really appreciate your guys' support. So, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate there. I can be like, yes, but no. I say no because we let a dude like Bobby Portis be the X factor. So that's frustrating. We didn't have an answer for Drew Holiday's defense, which was the architect of the interrupter of our own offense. And we could not get a rebound to save our lives. So without Brook Lopez there, which Brook was huge. How many big blocks did he have? And how many big time rebounds did he have? So many. I'm hoping if he's not there and the addition of somebody as active as Bismack Biyombo, because let's be honest, Ayton is not as active as Bismack. He's just not. Those can get us the extra possessions here and extra possessions there. But have you guys noticed Chris Paul, Darth Voida brought it up from Suns Jam session. Shout out to them. He brought it up. Chris Paul is not driving in the lane and doing all these things that's going to get him hurt now and going up for rebounds. He's letting other dudes take care of that so that he is fresh and ready to go for the playoffs. I'm a little concerned that he hasn't taken any games off, but have you guys noticed that with Chris Paul? Maybe it's not the killer instinct. He's just being passive, which is probably the game plan. Randy, what do you think?
So I definitely noticed it, and you can kind of tell just like every single game, like that's how it goes, because it starts off with him being just like, because I was a little annoyed by it too, because I was like, we need you to be more aggressive. But then like I noticed it's just like they kind of give the game the book in the first couple quarters.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then he just comes and take over, because it's in the last maybe 3 games, he's had like 15 points just straight in the fourth. So it's just like, and I'm kind of okay. I've learned to grow to be okay with it, because it's just like, if you're gonna show up in the fourth, then I guess that's the most important time for you to show up and not let the lead or like not let like them pull too far ahead or whatever, or get too much momentum. I'm fine with it. But like you said, I definitely do notice that he like, hey, get up, DA, hey, get up, Mikhail, get this, you know what I'm saying, and go do that. And I'll also too like cringe a little bit whenever I do see him jump and grab boards or stick his hands for like steals and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, we don't, you know what I'm saying? It's not worth it. But yeah, I definitely for sure notice it.
Have you noticed that, Jay, or were you cut off when I asked the question?
Yeah. What was your question? It just booted me for whatever reason.
No, you're fine. I said, one of the things about Chris Paul is that he's not healthy during the playoffs, right? So this season, it definitely seems like he's more passive. He's not attacking. He's not aggressive. He's not all these things because he wants to be healthy for the playoffs. Have you noticed that kind of play? Like he's not even going up and getting rebounds. He's letting other dudes do that work. Have you noticed that, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. Like he shouldn't be getting rebounds in the first place. He was very productive last year. I was actually surprised how productive he was last year. He was just everywhere on the court. He was always like there for the defensive rebound. He was always pushing the pace. He was just like a bull in the china shop, if you want to think about it that way. And I was pretty confident going into that Lakers series. I'm like, he's gone all year, not being injured. He's looked great, and then what do you know? Like 5 plays in, and like his shoulder gets thrown out and stuff. So you live and you learn. Like what happened to him when he played for the Rockets, that was a freak accident. Like that shouldn't have gone down that way. He just has a bad stretch of luck. I don't think it's just his body giving out on him. I think he tries to do too much, and I think he's starting to pace himself. And plus, he changed his diet, and he looks great. Whatever he's doing, it's working. He's getting everybody else involved. Like he doesn't need to be down there with Biyombo and God forbid any other 7-footer coming down right over him, and he's trying to poke his hand in there trying to get something. Let Campaign do that when he's on the bench if we need a couple steals, So it's like there's no need for him to do that. Like I love what he's doing right now. He's just facilitating. He's like Cam Johnson has been able to shine. Mikal in a couple of games, dude. He makes Biyombo look like a top 10 center right now. He's just feeding him on the short roll. JaVale McGee, he looks great just because they're playing with Chris Paul. So Chris Paul knows his role and he does it amazingly. Like as long as he paces himself and he doesn't get himself hurt, I think our chances are pretty good going forward.
Let me ask you this really quick. So now the Suns are 18-3 without DeAndre Ayton. This is something I've also been thinking about. We're like 18-3 without. Yeah, we're 18-3 without DeAndre Ayton. So how do you think that's going to affect him, in negotiation time? Because I think we miss him and we need him, but it's like we're winning without him. So I'm in negotiation time when he goes and asks for that max. I imagine it's not going to go over pretty good for him. So how do y'all feel about it?
I trust James Jones, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Whether he signs him to a full max, whether he lets him go, I think we need to keep the core together, and I think we need to do it because, Biyombo is doing pretty much the same things that DeAndre does at times when he's scoring 16 points and getting 10 boards. That's exactly what DA does. Tonight, he only had 12 and 6. So obviously DA is more consistent. I just feel like that money could be spent elsewhere because it's a guard-driven league, man. It is a guard-driven league, and I would love nothing more than to get one of these dudes like DeJounte Murray or whoever it is in another 2 years and not be swallowed up by a dude that's going to average 20 and 12 when everybody says, oh, but his defense. Motherfucker, all these NBA teams score more than 100 points a game. What the fuck you talking about? Defense. We need offense. It's an offensive league. You can find filler role player center guys like a Brook Lopez, like a Robin Lopez, like a JaVale McGee to come in and play hard defense and get rebounds. You can find dudes that do that. Can you find everybody that does what DA does? No, I don't think so. Do we need everything that DA does? I don't think so as well, too. That's just my personal opinion, and there's no hate on DA. That's just what he does is not worth the max. Is everybody legitimately going to look at me and say he is on par with Trae Young and Luka Doncic? Can anybody on this podcast say that?
No, not absolutely. And I
think you might be comparing them in the wrong way, though.
Ooh, do tell. I'm curious.
You want to go first, Randy, or
I was just about to say, I don't even think he has as much potential as MPJ. Like, because MPJ also got a max, and I feel like in like maybe 5 or whatever years or whatever, I think MPJ are probably better than DA. But go ahead.
Like, I don't know about that, dude. But like his back is
his back
gonna
is
ruin his career. So like, I pray that he becomes a great player. I liked him in college and stuff. So, but like I think when you compare DA's max situation to like Luka and Trey, I understand it, but I just feel like you're comparing it in the wrong way. Like, yeah, obviously Luke, like guys like Luka and Trey are max players, right? But since it's so guard driven, don't you think it's valuable to have a center that can like really put the ball, like really play the offense well and have great defense too? Like the whole league is so stacked with guards and guard play and two-way players and 3D guys that there's little to no good centers. So I think if you have a top 5 center,
you're right.
That puts your team up a million notches. Why do you think Utah's so
But he's not.
relevant?
But he's not a top. He's not a top 5 offensive center. He's not
overall.
Overall, no. But he's a dude that can guard Jokic. He can go out and guard Embiid. He can go out and guard these other dudes that we are going to meet. These big guys that are just inevitably going to show up in the playoffs, right? Yeah. He is a dude that can go out and he can do that. I mean, dude, if we did rely on JaVale McGee and Biyombo to go against Jokic.
That's what I'm saying. It's like would you rather like go in without him because Biyombo can do a couple things a little better than DA can? And JaVale just coming off the bench or however you want to arrange that? Or would you rather go in with DA knowing the system, knowing how to facilitate with Chris Paul, putting in that early set tempo and his performance against the other great bigs in the league too? Like I'd rather have that. And like, if you want to get into max talk, like that's a different conversation, but like, I'm just saying that's a guy that you want on your team, especially how guard driven this league is, to have someone like DA in that center pocket that can actually step up to them. If go ahead.
That's why I think we're going to be strong armed into having to re-sign him, to whatever he wants.
I think so too. I think it's going to be because of circumstance, but it's just like I said a couple episodes ago, I think DA is just kind of irreplaceable unless if like Embiid was like, hey, I'll come over, but like that isn't going to happen. Like I'd rather have DA than not have him and go in with like JaVale, Kaminsky, and Biyombo. Honestly, if we win the ring this year, we can have a different conversation about the whole DA situation and depending how many games he plays and his performance. But go ahead, Randy.
Nah, because I'm just torn because I just like Evan said, like I don't like the idea of being strong armed to like, all right, like now you have to give me this because like, you know what I'm saying, we're kind of forced to. But like, I don't know, like yes, he brings a lot of things, but it's like he does also have a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of flaws, but he does have a lot of like things that he does need to improve on. But I feel like with him being out or like not having him available, I feel like it would kind of force everybody else to be better. You know what I'm saying? It would force Cam Johnson to be a better rebounder. It would force Mikal Bridges to be a better defender and not let people go by or whatever the case may be. So I do think that without him, that it would definitely elevate everybody else around. So like maybe it would kind of pick up. But I do think that, like you said, it's like an easier trip where it's like it's less problems with DA there. 100%.
That is a lot of good points right there. We're about to wrap it up here because it is late here. It is late everywhere. I'm still on a cloud 9 a little bit. There's something about being an away fan going to arena that's just so damn satisfying when you come out with a win. You know, when you go to home games and you win, it's kind of cool. Everybody goes home, cool. But when you're the away fan, it's awesome. But we do have 2 big games coming up before our next podcast, which is going to be Sunday night. And we're hoping and praying that Amit can join us. He hasn't left. He hasn't left. He's still with us. He is just living his dream, coaching his son's, 6-7-year-old team. Nothing wrong with that at all. So he's a little busy on Wednesdays now. So Friday night, We play home to Minnesota. We get to see Ant Edwards. We get to see Cat. And we get to see our favorite defender of all time. Y'all know who I'm talking about?
Patrick Beverly.
Patrick Beverly.
There we go.
Patrick
Our
Headbutt
number one
Beverly.
favorite defender, along with D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and company. So Minnesota's kind of made some noise recently. They're a really talented team. If you sleep on them, I mean, just the other night, Anthony Edwards dropped 40 on the Blazers, right?
Mhm.
So they've found a few things out. They're still, I mean, they're not a great team, but they can come out. Last year, Anthony Edwards and Cat both had 40 burgers in the same game against us.
Yeah, that was so ugly.
And
That's
still won
when
that.
DA was playing and everything. So they're coming off
game
of
was
2
wild.
wins. They play tomorrow night, by the way. They play the Warriors tomorrow night, and then they play us off of a back-to-back, obviously in our favor. Who knows if DA is going to play, JaVale, any of those dudes. How are you guys feeling about the Minnesota game real quick? Are you feeling confident, Randy?
I'm feeling pretty confident, but I do think that we're about due for a loss, even though like I've been looking at the standings and stuff like, all right, we can afford to lose a few and be all right. But I do think that if we don't get one of the pieces in either Crowder or campaigners, like I don't think that we could win against Minnesota like we won against the Jazz tonight. Like if we go out there with the same kind of energy and effort and you know what I'm saying, the pieces, I don't think we win that game against Minnesota, especially with Cat down low. Yeah, I don't think we win that.
What do you think, JJ?
That is interesting. I'm actually gonna counter you. I think this game will show how deep and how versatile our bench is, considering everybody that we have. That if DA doesn't play, and hopefully McGee he'll be back, but if we can go into this game and actually win and have like a nice win, a nice little clean win, like 5-10 points or something, I think that would be pretty impressive. Mikal might have like a showing. He might have like a little nice game. And
Mikal needs to step up. He had like 8 points tonight.
Man, for real.
Yeah. His offensive, poise has gone down a little bit just because he hasn't been aggressive on that end. But I think if the Suns actually pull out and win this game, considering everybody that's out, I think this would be a very impressive, underestimated dub on the schedule. So.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And real quick, just to put it into context, let me zoom in a little bit. They are in the
Nice
7th
little
seed
cushion
right now.
there.
They're in the 7th seed, 24 and 23. They're only 2 games back from the 6th seed, so they're close. I mean, they're not far behind from Denver, from Dallas. I mean, they're really 5 games from Utah. They're not that far behind from really getting in the thick of it, and I really thought they were going to make a jump this year. So after that, on Sunday, we're going to have another post-game pod on Sunday because we play the Spurs again. It seems like we played them quite a few times this month or something like that. So we play the Spurs again.
We already played them like 3 times.
Yep. I'm more confident against the Spurs just because we've beaten them so many times this year, but always fun to watch DeJounte Murray. And we have another Thad Young watch, by the way, because of all the trade rumors early in the year. Game of the week next week, though. Tuesday, we play the Nets, and let's hope that at least Harden, and since it's at the Suns, maybe we'll see Kyrie. Maybe we'll see Kevin Durant, too. Kevin Durant's making his way back. I would love to see that game.
I'm going to that game.
But we need guys back. We need our team back. We need DA back. I mean, even if we just got Jay Crowder or DA back, I would be happy. I bet you Campaign's going to be out for at least another 2 to 4 weeks because he hasn't. We haven't even seen him. Jay was shooting shots today. DA's been around and everything. So just take time.
Allegedly, he's coming back Sunday. So
allegedly. So just take time. I mean, we got the All-Star break coming up. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you think
5,
we can get
6,
40
7,
wins
8,
before the
9,
All-Star
10,
break?
11.
That's my short-term goal.
11. We have 11 games before the All-Star break, and we're at 38. So we better.
I want 40 wins before we hit our 10th loss. That's my little milestone goal.
Well, that would make us on another 10-game win streak, by the way. We would have to win 2 more games, and we would be on a 10-game win streak.
Yeah, so
let's do it.
It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. I'm feeling good about the Phoenix Suns. You guys should too. It is always way more fun when your team does good. We're going to be back with you guys Sunday night, probably about 9:30-ish, same time as usual. Amit will be back. Share this podcast out, like it. We love you guys. See you next Sunday.
She sets, loads up, and it is caught! Dylan Strong!